Hello all and welcome to the process mining video series. So in the previous video, we have seen how to analyze the event analysis, how to understand the end-to-end analysis of the events. So in this particular video, we are going to understand what is simulation, and we will also see the sample data that we have taken care in the template one multifiles. So let's start with the simulation first, and then we'll move to the sample data which help us to reach to this particular data. So in the previous video you can see that the number of events, pay invoice, recent invoice, all we came to this particular part. Now to understand the simulation part, what we need to do, we need to click on the automation potential which you can see on the left side. Now what is simulation? Simulation means that suppose there are some process that are going on. Now if you want to make any changes on that process, so you want to first see after doing changes what you want to do it, what is the expected result. So UiPath process mining provide you that simulation technique which will help you to tell if you will configure these things, if you will automate this particular process, this much will be the savings, which will give you a good idea whether you should go ahead with the simulation or not. So as you can see that in the overview, I can see there are something called check, received invoice, and then request data, and then check contract condition. All these things I can see here. Now, if I want to click here, what I will do, I will click on this something called check received invoice. So suppose if I want to automate this particular process, I will click on this check received invoice. So I'll click on this three dots, or I'll click on this configure simulation. Now you can see here, this is asking you whether this check received invoice process that you are using, what is the process, like number of ways to complete the process. So processes complete the same way. There are some options that you need to pick it for simulation. For example, if you are telling there are more than 2 ways but less than 5 ways to complete the process, you can click on this according to your simulation which you think it. Like currently this is a manual task and there are 2 ways to complete it, or there are 5 ways to complete this. Whatever option suits you, you just click on this. Suppose I clicked on this process is completed the same way every time, or suppose there are 2 but less than 5 ways to complete the process, then then percentage of digital data input. So suppose if you are having 100% data as digitally you are receiving it, so you have to make it 100%. Or suppose if you are receiving little less, so according to your use case you have to make it. Then percentage of structured digital data input. So whatever data digitally that you are receiving, how much is the structured data, or what is the unstructured data in that. So suppose if I would say more than 80%, this is what I am expecting to simulate it. So once all the fields has been given inputted, so I will click on this simulation. Now what will happen, you can see that initially it was 0, but now you can see that it has moved to 88.2%. Similarly, simulate manual processing time has also been reduced now. Earlier the data was different. How you can analyze, you can just click on details, and now you can see that check received invoice, the activity that we have chosen for simulation. Now you can see there is 2.6 minute, it has been decreased to 19.98 minute earlier, and the automation rate has increased to 88.2%. Now once you are good with this, you can send it to the automation hub by clicking on this send to automation hub. You can also do that directly clicking on this and send to automation hub, so that the managers will take care of it and uh, change start working on it. Similarly, suppose the next activity I want to simulate is called request data. Let me click on configure simulation, and now you can see that the number of ways to complete the process, same way if I would say suppose there are 8 ways, and there are, I would say, 80% of data is digital and 80% is like that. This is what I told. And now you can see that again, the simulation rate has increased. And here, you can see here, now 74% and manual process has become like this. Earlier it was in years, but now it has been reduced to days. Now, if you click on the details, you can also see that earlier it was like 2.6 years, but now it has been 327 days only. Full-time employment has been reduced from like now it becomes 3.88. So all these things you can analyze and get a fair idea whether you should go with automating this particular task with the data available to you. Now, I want to also talk to you about the sample data that we have. For example, these are the four data that I have. It is available in the orchestrator. It will be available in the document. If you want to go through it, it will be available in the process mining section. So these are the four data that I have used to come to the conclusion. So what are these data? Let me go one by one on this. So first one is event log raw data. So where you can see that the activity received invoice, what is the case ID, event cost, event details, event end, event start, who is the team processor, who is the user that process that activity, and event ID. All these things was there to for me to reach to that particular conclusion. Similarly, the other tabs like case ID, case status, case type, case value, all those things are here. Same way is due date. Suppose, for example, for activity called final check done, the actual date was this, estimated date was this. So this is also one of the way to analyze it. And finally, tag multiple final check needed. So what you have to do, that the tag type is rework. All those things you can see here in this particular section. There are multiple files with the payment without approval. There is a violation. Same way, payment info not clear, it's inefficiency. So all these things come under the tag section. So all these things we have taken these data to reach to the conclusion that we are using it. Now, we have already seen, we already know what are the benefits of using features that process mining provides us. Now, let's discuss few of the benefits. So it actually helps us to improve process efficiency and effectiveness, better resource allocation and utilization by understanding, okay, these much of bottlenecks, these much of resources are needed. So you can use that data to understand where to allocate the data. The increased operational transparency will be there. Now you can understand how many days, how many time, what amount of time is required to process one data. Enhanced compliance and risk management. Now, using simulation, you can understand whether you should go ahead with automating the process that you have chosen or not. And finally, improved customer satisfaction. Once you start moving your steps by taking these decisions, automatically it will impact the customer satisfaction, and customer satisfaction will be improved because you are now backing yourself with the data. All your action will be backed by the data. Also, let's discuss about the few use cases of UiPath process mining. So some are accounts payable process optimization, order to cash process optimization, procurement process optimization, customer service process optimization, and HR process optimization. So these are the use cases, few use cases that we have taken. There are multiples, but these are the things that we can currently do it. And before wrapping this video, I want to conclude the process mining video series that process mining is a powerful software solution that can help organization optimize their business processes by providing end-to-end visibility and insight into your processes. It can help you identify areas for improvement, reduce cost, and improve customer satisfaction. As I already mentioned, that everything will be backed by the data. So if I take you again to the process mining, you can see that when you automate something, when you are planning to automate something, you can also see how much saving it will do it in terms of full-time employment, in terms of manual processing time. All these things you can understand using the automation potentials. So this is all about this particular process mining session. I hope you enjoy the video. Do let me know if you like the video, or I can do something to improve the existing content. Feel free to comment and like my video. That's all from this. Thank you and happy learning.